folks, and welcome to this midweek fill-up today. And today we're talking about short-term memory. Yeah. How many of us have a mean to do something and then we forget to do it, right? So often as we get older, we do. Maybe have done this before. You'll be sitting in the living room and you'll get up to go somewhere to do something, and then halfway there you forget what you were going to do, right? We kind of have a short-term memory sometimes. And see, Israel was the same way. See, Israel had a very short-term memory when it came to God's blessing. They continually forgot what God had done for them, right? The psalmist wrote in Psalm 100 and verse 5, he wrote, "Remember his marvelous works that he has done," right? And Israel did. God brought Israel out of Egyptian bondage. And it wasn't very long after they saw the miraculous happen. See, you go through and look at it. They prayed that God would bring them out of Egyptian bondage. God sent Moses and they brought them, and they were released and they got out and they started to make their way and they got to the Red Sea. And what did they do? They forgot that God had brought them that far. Well, God can't do this. And then Moses stretched forth his rod and the sea parted and they went through on dry ground, and then they said, wow, God has done this. And then they got into the desert and then they began to complain because, well, it's too hot. Well, we ain't got water. Well, we ain't got some. They forgot. God would supply if they would just trust him, right? But they kept forgetting how much God would do for them. And that's what happens to us so often. What we do is we'll see a blessing from God, and then when the next trial comes in, then we forget that God gave us that blessing before for the last time, and why can't he do it again? Well, he can. That's the point. But so often what we do is we forget. We have a short-term memory. And that's what the psalmist was trying to remind us. Remember his marvelous works. Remember the things that he's done. God does so much for his people. We need to not forget all of the amazing things that he does for us. Don't stop having that short-term memory. Start remembering. There's something that we do. Back in the generations ago, we used to have photo albums. Nowadays, we have photo albums on our smartphones, right? But back in the day, we would have photo albums, and you would go through and you would look at the old photos, and you would see all the old things, and you would reminisce, and you would remember these things. And sometimes I think we need to have snapshots of what God has done for us. Have a snapshot, if you will. Write down something on a notepad on your phone or something, and say, God brought me through. God gave me this blessing on this day, right? When we do that, then we can look back and we can see, God bless me here, God bless me here, God bless me here, God bless me here. And then when we're going through something that is so difficult and we feel like, I don't know if I can make it through this, then we go to that and we look and we say, wow, if God blessed me here, 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 and here, you know what? God's not going to leave me now. God is going to get me through this. God's going to get me through. Because the Bible literally says that he would never leave us nor forsake us. And if God's not going to leave you or forsake you, then just put your trust in him. Stop having that short-term memory. Remember all the blessings that God pours upon you. Because God will pour blessing after blessing after blessing. And when you really look at it, if you begin to really look at your blessings and you begin to really look at every single day, the blessings, you're going to be amazed. Sometimes we find ourselves just thinking about all the bad stuff that we forget that God blesses us. And we need to start just praising the Lord for the blessings. And realize that if he hasn't left you now, in the past. He's not going to leave you now. God is going to be there. Let's face it, the children of Israel found themselves eventually at the promised land. But sometimes we got to go through some trials and tribulations. But he'll walk with you. He'll walk with you all the way. Just like that beautiful poem of the footsteps. When we feel like we're all alone and we look back and we see only one set of footprints, that's when God is carrying you through your trial. So don't have a short-term memory. Remember, God blesses all the time. And what you're going through, he will get you through it. So just trust him. Just trust him. He'll get you through. All right? Well, we have enjoyed this little midweek fill-up, and I hope you have as well. Be sure to give us a thumbs up. We would appreciate it. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. It's free. And hit that bell. You'll be notified when the next new video comes up, and you'll be able to hear that and get that blessing. Be sure to go to our official website and check out all the events coming up at Doran Wesleyan Church. And until we're with you next time, this is Pastor Jay wishing you a blessed day, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day. Bye.